In the quiet hours before dawn, there exists a special kind of tranquility, a shared silence that speaks volumes. A few years back, my younger self struggled with the thought of an uncertain future. To me, the world seemed a little too large, a little too loud. With the weight of uncertainty pressed heavily upon me, it was during this time I subsequently searched for an escape. In my search for solace, I stumbled upon a quaint little farming game called Stardew Valley. I invited my girlfriend to play along, and as we tended to our crops and befriended the townfolk, reality, with all of its noises and demands, began to fade away. For those precious hours, my problems were no longer mine to shoulder alone. They were replaced by simpler, more manageable tasks. Water the plants, feed the animals, explore the mines. The simple fact that I was alone with someone felt inherently different than before. There is something profoundly deeper about sharing this escape with others. It wasn't just about fleeing from reality. It was about constructing a new one, where we could find comfort in each other's presence. Escapism in video games is nothing new. Our parents warned us not to be sucked into our screens, while the nose would plaster aggressive acts of violence learned from the online world. I would agree with them for the most part. Navigating games alone might be soothing for one individual, for another, it might be addictive. However, unlike single-player narratives, co-op experiences offer us a unique form of solace and understanding. I found that while we are escaping, we're also discovering facets of ourselves and others in a space free from judgment. In this exploration, we'll delve into the realms of Stardew Valley, Spiritfarer, and Untitled Goose Game. As digital sanctuaries, these games represent more than their mechanics and storylines. They're a testament to how collective escapism in gaming can foster community, empathy, and a unique sense of belonging, contrasting sharply with the solitary journey that defines most of our actual lives. With this in mind, the double-edged sword of escapism becomes a strong tool when done collaboratively. Understanding escapism, its powers, its pitfalls, and ultimately, its place in our lives is important to understand why people choose to share their escape with others. At the heart of collective escapism lies the human desire for connection and mutual experience. This narrative could have easily followed the solitary path of many traditional games, wherein all that unfolds does so in quiet company. Escapism is generally a solo endeavor, and I found myself in that loop as well. However, more often than not, I've noticed it's not very fulfilling. Games such as Stardew Valley, Spiritfarer, and Untitled Goose Game replace this storyline dynamic with another, a shared journey. The interesting thing is that each game does offer a solo experience. In both solo and co-op, you can become enthralled in the roles, responsibilities, and relationships usually not available for experimentation in the real world. So, then what makes the cooperative mode so different in these games besides the mechanics? In Stardew Valley, what begins as an escape from the grinding corporate treadmill becomes a web of community connections and collaborative farming. Even in my first playthrough with my girlfriend, I found that the multiplayer feature gamifies the formerly serious single-player mode. This change takes a step back a bit from self-discovery and disciplined farm management, turning it quite literally into a joint venture. Solitary against communal play, the requirement for teamwork underscores the power Stardew Valley has as a form of collective escapism, where joy issues not only from personal achievement, but also the success and happiness of your farmmates. This concept of collaborative experiences is maybe even better seen through Spiritfarer. Threaded with the theme of breaking free and ferrying spirits to the afterlife, Spiritfarer at its center is a game of farewells. While playing multiplayer, one person plays as the Spiritfarer Stella, and the other assumes the role of the cat Daffodil. This partnership amounts to much more than a change in the game's mechanics from the solo version. Tasks that seem to be cumbersome alone become a source of joy and fun. They can even cause some kind of laughter and mutual joy. The participation of another player provides not only assistance in tasks, but also a sharer in grief as you take care and let go of characters. A shared burden, as you will. Funny enough, I've also found this shared burden in the Unlikely Candidate's Untitled Goose Game. Allowing two players to share the burden of finding bells and causing pain to an otherwise peaceful village is inherently more mischievous, but this is exactly the kind of emotion that appeals to collective escapism. This two-player mode partners you with your friend in crime as you set out to wreak havoc, and the need to coordinate introduces a playful form of cooperation. It's a light and even more whimsical look into group experiences, underlining the important idea. Even in those escapades, there's some deep-seated desire to share those moments with someone else. Overall, these games uniquely show us the juxtaposition of individual experiences against collective ones. Whereas solo games often mirror the personal individualism prevalent in society, emphasizing self-achievement and an inbuilt self-discovery mechanism, co-op games tend to resonate with the communal aspect of human nature. They remind one that joy, much like sorrow, is magnified when shared. In this regard, I came to understand that escapism from the material world doesn't have to be a dangerous tool. People naturally gravitate towards connection and cooperation, actively choosing to care for one another beyond spatial and temporal restrictions. While creating this video, I asked others around me who grew up playing video games how they feel about this topic, and most feel the same pull towards playing with friends. For many people, the stages of these games feel genuine. During these stages, relationships develop, change, and grow. The games that we choose to play as kids, however fulfilling in teaching us about life, are usually just the backdrops to grow upon. For me, Stardew Valley with my girlfriend was a rendezvous in trying to close the physical gap while most of our time was spent studying. Playing on that virtual farm we took care of was more than time wasting and entertainment. It represented a joint pact to put effort required into our partnership. Her flair for decoration, her knack for foraging, and her thoughtful in-game gestures were windows into her personality, which if I were not able to look through, I wouldn't be as close to her as I am today. I was able to see layers of her personality that go unseen by those interacting with her in a conventional manner of daily life. Our teamwork in the virtual world proved that we could also exhibit the same when cooperating in the physical one, thus proving that effective collaboration in a game can translate harmoniously outside of it. And through it all, tranquility in the world of Stardew, unspoken yet hardly noticed, allowed us to share silence, a rare comfort that works surprisingly well. That mutual understanding, this quiet time in the fields, deepened the contact to the point that both of us cherished the presence of each other, both on and offline. If I'm being honest, I picked up on it. For this reason, it wasn't long until we jumped into the next game. Spiritfarer brought an entirely different dynamic to our digital explorations. The more linear storyline meant we were moving together through the narrative, in contrast with the open-endedness of Stardew Valley. This structured journey was at times constrictive, yet delivered value in terms of shared experiences and compromise. It emphasized how important it is to travel in an enforced linear path, tapping into our ability to adapt to each other's needs and rhythms. I ended up playing as Daffodil, and one interesting choice the developers made was to only allow Stella to interact with important elements, such as dialogue and story. Instead of feeling like I had no agency, it instead pushed us to always make choices together. The reliance on my girlfriend to take us through the choices felt like a step towards similar choices while navigating life. We were one in a sense, as in the solo experience this cooperation does not exist. I'm now grateful we chose to play through the game together. While Spiritfarer changes between single to co-op, one game that doesn't change much is the lighthearted Untitled Goose Game. If Stardew and Spiritfarer were peaceful coexistence lessons, then the Untitled Goose Game threw us into the lesson of chaotic collaboration. Here, the very essence of our teamwork is through the mischievous role of geese on a spree. My girlfriend and I loved this cute game unbelievably much, and while playing, I didn't expect to find something as interesting as I did. The puzzles we worked on and the NPCs with whom we interacted embodied how people need to find a bit of chaos in one another to function in real life. It is without question that escapism into Untitled Goose Game is not such a bad thing by any stretch of the imagination, but the frustration exchanged between me and my girlfriend felt like much more than just getting some added chaos. Not being able to beat a level together felt good in the end, and slowly but surely taught us that patience in this world was quite easily extended beyond the screen. Through these games, escapism took an entirely new meaning. No more were we doing this to escape reality than to understand each other better. We were provided with dreams, vulnerability, and the facing of fears that would make them easier for us to face in the real world. Co-op games have been around since the dawn of gaming, but it's not news that playing together often leads to a richer, more enjoyable experience. Yet, the recent surge in cooperative gaming isn't just a trend, it's a reflection of our changing cultural and social landscapes. As technology draws us closer together, changing the way we communicate, interact, and build relationships, co-op video games have risen as a significant cultural movement. They redefine our concept of community, companionship, and support, aligning with our increasingly interconnected world. This move towards shared virtual experiences has also noticeably boosted empathy and understanding among players. By stepping into another's shoes or their digital counterpart, players can understand different perspectives and life scenarios. In co-op modes, this means embracing each other's strategies, emotions, and decisions, echoing true relationship dynamics. This understanding can lead to greater empathy and patience in our everyday interactions, encouraging us to value diverse viewpoints and approaches. From what we've seen in my personal experience with my girlfriend, Games like Stardew Valley and Untitled Goose Game underscore the importance of communication and teamwork. They require players to discuss, plan, and execute strategies collectively, which can lead to improved communication skills and better conflict resolution. These games serve as a low-risk platform for players to navigate through disagreements and misunderstandings, practice patience, compromise, and mutual support. The skills acquired are not just for in-game success, they also have substantial applications that enhance our personal lives. In the name of positive change, this phenomena of collective escapism in video games also prompts us to reassess the balance between our digital and physical lives. While these shared virtual worlds might provide comfort, connection, and entertainment, they also make us ponder our engagement with the real world and our face-to-face relationships. They push us to think about how we can transfer the positive aspects of our online interactions, like collaboration, open communication, and communal support, to improve our offline existence. If my journey with my girlfriend through the vibrant landscapes of Stardew Valley, the serene passages of Spiritfarer, and the playful streets of Untitled Goose Games has taught me anything, video games are far more than simple escapism. They serve as a powerful bridge for connection, reflection, and shared experiences, profoundly influencing our interactions and understanding in the real world. These adventures in collective escapism offer more than just a respite from the daily grind. They provide unique growth and exploration. Reflecting on shared virtual voyages prompts us to consider their tangible implications. The bonds formed and the lessons learned in these worlds have the power to extend beyond the confines of our screen. They challenge us to infuse our real-world communities with the same spirit of understanding, cooperation, and empathy. The divide between our digital and real-life interactions is thinner than we might think. The relationships, teamwork, and connections fostered online should seemingly integrate with our everyday lives. As I have, I invite you to reflect on your own experiences with collective escapism. Share stories, let the digital world help shape your perspective on life and relationships. Together, let's appreciate the profound impact of these shared virtual adventures and consider how they can help us build a more connected, empathetic, and understanding world. As I close up this video on collective escapism in video games, I want to thank you for watching. This has been such a fun topic to write about, and I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. I'll be responding to every single one, so feel free to ask questions, leave your ideas, or just say hey. If you've enjoyed it, feel free to subscribe, it would mean the world to me. I create most of these videos live, so please go check me out on Twitch at twitch.tv/Pingyer, or go check out the Twitch recap channel on YouTube, Pingyer TV, down in the description. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. My voice is so dead after recording this. Ah!